dissatisfaction, stress, unease, wanting things to be otherwise, suffering. All different descriptions of the same fundamental experience. It can feel random, like suffering just happens to us. But if we learn to look carefully, we can actually see that it forms through a chain of conditions. Hi, I'm Thor, meditation teacher, composer, performer, professor, and sound designer. And this is my course on the 12 links. In Buddhism, the chain that creates the suffering is described through a teaching called dependent origination, and more specifically through the 12 links, a practical map of how dissatisfaction, stress, and suffering take shape. And that's what this series is all about. But I want to make this practical, not abstract. This is about your everyday experience, but not just about thinking about it or learning a new concept. It's about learning to see it, experience it, and feel it directly. The 12 links form a chain, and each link depends on the one before it. And when we learn to see the chain clearly, we start to understand how this dissatisfaction forms, how wanting things to be otherwise forms, how suffering forms, and more importantly, we begin to see how it can be broken. So we can look at this chain in two different directions, constructively from the ground up, or deconstructively, starting with dissatisfaction and tracing it backwards to the source. So let's start with a brief deconstruction. In order for there to be dissatisfaction, there has to be a sense of someone who's dissatisfied, a sense of me, often called selfing. But where does that sense of me come from? If we look deeper, we find that something has become important to us. And for something to become important, we first have to be repeating a pattern or a loop. And in order to have a pattern or loop, we first have to have a craving or a push-pull. In order to have this craving or push-pull, there needs to be a feeling, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. And before feeling, there needs to be a sensation, something that makes contact with the senses. But for a sensation to happen, the senses have to be online in the first place. And the senses don't operate in a vacuum. They're shaped by labels, shapes, impressions, which are the way the mind organizes experience. The labels, though, must be perceived by something. Enter a filtered consciousness. The ability to take in experience, albeit through one's unique filters. This filtered consciousness, though, is shaped by internal world building, accumulated by experience and conditioning. And at the root of the whole thing is not seeing clearly, a forgetting, a disconnection from what's actually here. It's like wearing colored glasses and mistaking the color of the lenses for reality itself. Okay, so this was our lightning round introduction. So we're going to go through this slowly, step by step, link by link. And by the end of this course, the point is not just that you'll understand these ideas. The point is that you'll know them intimately in your own experience. And that ultimately, you'll be able to break the chain. The reason this has to be experienced is that intellectual understanding can only take us so far. Real change comes from seeing these patterns directly as they happen. And that's where we begin to disentangle the habits, reactions, and stories that keep leading us back to suffering. So if you didn't follow all that just now, don't worry about it. That's what the whole course is for. In the next video, we'll start from the ground up and investigate each of the 12 links one at a time through both understanding and practice. I'm really excited to be doing this with you. Let's get started.